Hi everyone, it's Ella here from Turning Point CT. We're here with another video for you about COVID, and I thought it would be a good idea to touch on what therapy is like during this time, and whether virtual therapy could be something that would be helpful and a support for you. So I have with me is Eliza, who is a SMART Recovery Group Facilitator. Here, Eliza.
Hi everyone. So my name's Eliza. I facilitate a SMART Recovery Group for teenagers in Norwalk, and I've been a facilitator for 2 years, I think. A little bit, maybe a little bit more than that. About 2 years, I think.
Nice. So for anybody that doesn't know, what is a SMART recovery?
So SMART Recovery is a type of support group. It's a specific type of support group that's called mutual support, which is another way of saying peer support, which is another way of saying I'm not a therapist. I am trained as a recovery coach and a recovery support specialist, which are two different types of peer support. So when I did my trainings, I kind of learned how to be neutral, on your level. I'm not up here, I'm kind of here, and I can kind of go up and down as you need me to. I'm in recovery myself, which is why I run this group. And SMART Recovery stands for self-management and recovery training. So it's really about managing your thoughts, your behaviors, your emotions in order to reach the goals that you would like to reach. And it's not my role to tell you what those goals should be, even if I think I know what they maybe could be. It's my role to be supportive of whatever it is that you would like, and to help you gain the skills to manage your life, and realize that you have choice and control over things that you do. So that's really what SMART Recovery is about. It's about choice, about skills and tools, and about kind of managing all of the ups and downs of life.
That's awesome. So you run a group, you said. How often does that meet?
So we meet once a week. Right now we meet every Wednesday from 4 until 5:30. And we're a teen group. So we are for teenagers, but there's also young adult groups and adult groups.
That's awesome. So can anybody do it? Do you have to have a diagnosis?
Definitely not. So in my group, I'll speak specifically about the experiences that I've had in my group. Our first year, we had a huge group of teenagers. We had some people who had recently been discharged from intensive outpatient who kind of needed continued support, but not so intense. It's like every day or 3 times a week. And we have people who kind of silently struggle, like white knuckle it through life and school and family. And then we had people who really did not identify as struggling mentally with anything, emotionally with anything, but really enjoyed the atmosphere of a group of people that you would pass in your school, but you wouldn't necessarily talk to. And that was a big, I think, aha moment for a lot of people. Was realizing, like, we think very similarly. So
That's really awesome. I found that myself when I've done support groups, is that it brings people who wouldn't have ordinarily talked, but they share a shared experience in some level, and that can be really powerful to know that you're not alone. So SMART is really cool, but is it available during quarantine?
It is. So my group has continued to run. We have no plan of stopping at any point. During the quarantine, we'll continue to be a phone-in meeting. We use something called Ring Central. So you can join by video and we can see each other's faces. I'm always on video. Or if you prefer to join by phone, that's all right also. And it will continue to run for the duration of the quarantine.
That's awesome. So what would you recommend if you were nervous about joining and the idea of talking about some really personal things over video to strangers? That could be pretty intimidating. What would you have to say about that?
Yeah. So I think what helps a lot is the fact that you're not the only person calling into the group. And I personally am pretty candid in our groups about, are you feeling uncomfortable? Are you feeling awkward? How can we make this more comfortable? Is being on video more comfortable for you, or do you feel better listening for your first group? Our first quarantine meeting, we at the facilitators, which is not quite normal for a SMART group, we talked a lot because there's kind of that uncertainty of, can I share in a Zoom meeting, in a video chat? And I think pretty quickly by the end of the meeting, people felt comfortable talking. So I don't want anyone to think that there's ever any awkward silences, ever anyone being put on the spot, asked to speak who doesn't feel comfortable speaking. It's not how an in-person SMART recovery group would go. And it's certainly not how a online meeting would go. And I was gonna say, it's also, if it's your first time for a in-person group, what we always recommend is bringing a friend, because like I said, you don't have to struggle with anything to benefit from SMART recovery. And bringing a friend is a really nice way to support someone that you care about and to make a new situation more comfortable, a little bit more approachable. And you can do that for that too.
Sounds like a really good idea. Just to at least have one person that you recognize and you feel comfortable sharing. And you can even just put their picture up on the screen and be like you're talking to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how would you recommend somebody goes about joining?
So if you would like to join, my group is every Wednesday. If you go to turningpointct.org, you can see when this like SMART recovery groups that are happening virtually, when they are scheduled. Like I said, there's also a young adult group you know about, and you can kind of see your options, and you can reach out to me. My phone number is on the flyer. You can send me a text. I've had a lot of people or their parents kind of text me and explain that they're feeling really anxious about coming to a first group. And it's always something that we can ease in as gently as possible. It's more comfortable for you to call in 15 minutes before the group and introduce yourself to me, or call in and just let me know I'm going to be on mute. Please don't ask me to check in. That's also okay.
That all sounds like really great options. And I'm so glad that you guys are still sticking with it. And I think it's going to be really helpful for anybody that's looking for that kind of support.
Yeah. I think right now, especially, is a good time for a support group with our peers, because we're in relative isolation. I mean, it's difficult for anyone who isn't struggling. And if you were struggling before this, chances are that you might really benefit from hearing people your age talk about things that we can do to make this easier on ourselves, even if it's just changing the way we think about it.
100%. I think that's all the questions I have for you, Eliza. But thank you so much for your time. I feel like I know a lot more about SMART now, so thank you.
Of course, thank you, Ella.
Bye.